New York State. Deep inside a cold snowy forest, lived a huge lion named Leo. Leo was not like other wild animals. He was calm, silent, and lonely. Years ago, hunters had killed his family. Since that day, Leo stayed away from humans. Every night, he sat alone near a frozen lake, looking at the moon, as if waiting for someone. Not far from that forest, there was a small town, where a 14-year-old boy named Ethan lived with his mother. Ethan was a quiet boy. He had no real friends. Kids at school ignored him. Some laughed at him because he loved animals more than video games. Every day after school, Ethan walked near the forest carrying a small notebook. He loved drawing birds, wolves, and deer. One freezing evening, Ethan heard a loud, painful roar from deep inside the forest. At first he got scared, but something inside him said, "Someone needs help." Slowly, he followed the sound. Snow covered the ground. Cold wind hit his face. And then, behind a group of trees, he saw something shocking. A massive lion trapped in a hunter's steel trap. Blood covered the snow. The lion growled in pain. Ethan's hands started shaking. But when he looked into the lion's eyes, he did not see anger. He saw sadness, fear, and pain. Ethan slowly walked closer. The lion tried to roar, but he was too weak. Ethan took a deep breath and whispered, "It's okay. I won't hurt you." Carefully, he used a thick branch to open the trap. The lion screamed loudly and finally pulled his leg free. For a moment, everything became silent. Ethan thought the lion would attack him. But instead, the lion slowly stood up, looked directly into Ethan's eyes, and then walked away into the dark forest. Ethan never forgot that night. The next evening, he returned to the forest. He brought meat and clean water. At first, nothing happened. Then suddenly, Leo appeared from the shadows. Slowly, carefully, he walked toward Ethan. Ethan's heart raced, but Leo sat down peacefully near him. From that day, an unbelievable friendship began. Every evening, Ethan visited Leo. Sometimes he talked about school, sometimes about his dreams. And somehow, Leo always listened quietly. For the first time in years, Ethan felt understood. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. The lonely boy and the lonely lion became best friends. One snowy afternoon, Ethan noticed something terrible. Several hunters had entered the forest. They carried guns and cages. Ethan secretly followed them. And then he heard one hunter say, "That giant lion is worth thousands of dollars. Tonight we catch him." Ethan's face turned pale. He immediately ran through the snow searching for Leo. Finally, he found him near the frozen lake. Leo stood peacefully under the moonlight, not knowing danger was coming. Ethan hugged the lion tightly and whispered, "You have to leave now. The hunters are coming." Leo looked confused. Suddenly, a loud gunshot echoed through the forest. Birds flew into the sky. The hunters had arrived. Flashlights moved between the trees. Ethan grabbed Leo's face and shouted, "Run, Leo, run!" But before Leo could escape, another trap snapped around his leg. Leo roared in pain. Hunters surrounded them. One hunter pointed a gun toward Leo. "Move away, kid. That animal belongs to us now." Ethan stood in front of Leo, tears freezing on his face. "No, he is my friend." The hunters laughed. "Animals are not friends. Animals are money." One hunter pushed Ethan into the snow. Leo became furious. For the first time, his eyes filled with fire. He broke the trap chain with all his strength and roared louder than thunder. The entire forest shook. Hunters stepped back in fear. Leo stood protectively beside Ethan, ready to defend him. But Ethan grabbed Leo gently. "No, Leo. Don't hurt them. Just leave." For a few seconds, everything stayed silent. Then the hunters slowly backed away, terrified, and disappeared into the forest. Ethan collapsed into the snow crying. Leo slowly walked to him and placed his huge head beside the boy. That night, under the freezing moonlight, boy and lion sat together beside the frozen lake. Two lonely souls, who had finally found family. But deep inside, Ethan knew something painful. Leo could never stay safely near humans forever. The next morning, Ethan returned to the forest one last time. He brought fresh meat, his notebook, and a small drawing. The drawing showed a lion and a boy sitting together under the moon. Ethan placed it beside Leo, with tears in his eyes. "You saved me too, Leo. Before you, I felt alone in this world." Leo gently touched Ethan's shoulder with his head, as if saying goodbye. Then slowly, the great lion turned around and walked deeper into the snowy forest. Ethan watched until Leo disappeared completely. Years later, Ethan became a famous wildlife protector. He spent his life saving animals from hunters. And in his office, there was always one framed picture. A drawing of a lonely lion and a lonely boy who changed each other's lives forever. Because sometimes, the strongest friendships are born without words, and sometimes, the heart of an animal can be more human than humans themselves.